Kommo-o can definitely be a very difficult raid. There are a lot of things about its abilities, its moveset, and the actions of the raid in particular that make this raid very difficult, right? And the things that we're going to take advantage of are a couple things. One, it is going to use Scary Face on your Pokemon. It's got it in its moveset, so we're going to use a Defiant Pokemon. It also does only one player cleanse, and that's a 75% HP. So as soon as that happens, we're going to do a little bit of setup, and then we're just going to go on into turbo spam. The other thing that makes it difficult is the fact that it's going to use Clangorous Soul twice, raising all of its important stats by 1. So we're going to increase our chances of landing a critical hit up to 50%. And even without the critical hits, we should be able to do more than enough damage to end this raid very quickly. You'd have to be extremely unlucky not to successfully win with these two builds. For this raid, we're going to be using 2 different builds of the same Pokemon. Now, before I say anything, we are going to be using 2 different kinds of Annihilape to demonstrate in this video, but most people should have no issue farming enough Stellar type shards to make an Annihilape a Stellar type. So if you have the 50 Stellar shards to make Annihilape Stellar type, I would recommend just doing that. That way you can do either one of these 2 strategies, and you don't have to hold the Covert Cloak because you will maintain your Ghost typing. That being said, I did make a Ghost type and a Fighting type just in case there are some people watching this who may not have the Stellar Shards and just want to get through Kommo-o real quick. So that being said, our 2 builds are going to both be Defiant Annihilape. One's going to be a Ghost Tera type, one's going to be a Fighting Tera type. And we're going to exploit the fact that, Rage Fist is broken, and the fact that everything that Rage Fist is resisted by, Drain Punch is going to be super effective. So whatever Rage Fist doesn't work on, Drain Punch will. And the important thing about these Annihilape builds are, 1, the fact that Annihilape has Defiant. It will proc at least once in the raid, giving you some extra damage. Annihilape's Ghost typing in the beginning is going to be very important, even for the fighting Tera type Annihilape. Annihilape also gets Bulk Up, which is going to decrease the damage of all incoming moves, except for Focus Blast on the fighting Tera type Annihilape. So for a portion of the raid you'll have to worry about that, but I'll talk to you about how to mitigate that risk. And on both of them we're going to be using Focus Energy. Focus Energy is going to help mitigate the defense boosts that Kommo-o is going to get. The offense boosts Kommo-o gets aren't going to be too big a deal because we'll be out healing all that damage, especially if Defiant procs. But the important thing is that, setting up that Focus Energy in the beginning of the raid and having that 50% chance to land a critical hit for the entire raid is just wonderful, particularly in this raid when Kommo-o is going to be boosting its stats quite a bit with those 2 Clangorous Souls. Now for the Ghost Tera type Annihilape, what we're going to be doing is very simple. You're just going to use Focus Energy. It'll give you that 2 times critical hit boost for the entire raid. That's 50%. Chance to get a critical hit, and that's going to be very useful, particularly later in the raid. And since the damage is a little lighter in the beginning, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way right off the bat. After that, we're going to go ahead and use Rage Fist until Kommo-o cleans you. That'll be at 75% of its HP. It should be 2 or 3 Rage Fists. Now after that, you're going to go ahead and use Bulk Up 2 times, and as soon as you're able to Terastallize, you're going to go ahead and do that. Then, after you are Terastallized, you're going to go ahead and turbo spam Rage Fist, as long as Rage Fist is in that first move slot. Now for those of you who did go ahead and train up a Stellar type Annihilape, you can do this strategy exactly the same, and instead of using the Fighting Tera type Annihilape, you can do the same exact strategy as what's coming next. The only difference is that you'll be able to terrestrialize as soon as you want, since you'll be retaining that ghost typing. Now for the fighting type, you're going to be doing almost the exact same thing, leading with the focus energy, setting up that +2 on the critical hit chance. We got Drain Punch until you get cleaned at 75% of its HP. You're going to bulk up 2 times. The big difference here, along with the fact that we're using Drain Punch instead of Rage Fist, is the fact that we do not want to terrestrialize until you already have your 2 bulk ups. The reason is, until we terrestrialize, we're going to have a ghost typing, which is going to prevent Kommo-o from being able to use Focus Blast on us. Focus Blast does have a small chance to decrease our special defense by 1 stage. It also just does more damage than the other things. So if you terrestrialize early, you're going to find you're having a much harder time setting up than you would if you were patient. So be patient. Once you are at +2, then you can go ahead and terrestrialize and turbo spam Drain Punch until the raid is over. Smash that like button and subscribe.